I'm gonna call the Grand County School District Board of Education work session to order. It's Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 at 3:41. All board members are present. Superintendent Kice is present. Is Jerry used? It's gone. And we are available via Zoom. We're on YouTube Live. And we are here at the district office in person. Doing this.
We usually do that.
Work session. Yes, we do. Look, it's right here. I know it's not, but we usually don't do it. We should. But we're going to do it for the sun. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Kathy, will you read our mission statement?
Our mission is to put each student first every day.
All right. Approval of the agenda.
I move approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Dave Brisha makes a motion, Laura Lee Green seconds. All those in favor of approving the agenda say aye. Aye. Aye, that passes 5-0. All right, public comments? We don't. We don't, but we gotta approve the agenda. No public comment. Items on discussion. So, first is staffing. Superintendent Kice will lead a discussion on certified staffing.
So we have been talking about for a couple of years now, having a board approved student pupil ratio or a board approved ratio to help us as we navigate staffing needs and to ideally take emotion out of the discussion and really try to quantify as well as qualify our staffing decisions. So what you have on an attachment there, you also have a paper copy, is just a template of our first draft of a proposed staffing ratio to address staffing going forward. You'll notice that there's one for each school, and they vary depending on the school because the schools are different with their needs. And then you'll also notice that it takes into account when we're looking at a student teacher ratio, and this is all stuff that is for discussion and can be changed. I'm not saying this is the way. This is based off a tool that I used for a very long time at San Juan. But it takes into account the different sources of funding when we talk about district provided funding for staffing ratio. So on the elementary school staffing, it's taken into account your general fund, your district fund 0001, as well as I believe it's Title II and class size reduction. So 5201 is class size reduction, and then your Title II is 76 or 7860. And what that basically breaks down to is that in general, with those three funding sources, you can see here, if you go down at the bottom of the left-hand column, there's 31 full FTE that the board is providing district funded FTE at the elementary school. That's not taken into account any of your administration, any of your licensed other, any of your counselor, school-based mental health, or any of your special education. So like in licensed other, you see that we have an additional 4 teachers put in, whether it's through 7801 or Beverly Sorensen. And then additionally, some licensed support through part-time teacher coach. And then it doesn't include any of your special education FTE either. And it also doesn't include any of your paraeducational professionals or any of your exploratory teachers. So what we're just looking at is certified staffing ratio based on that. Now, at the top, that's based on a couple of different numbers coming out of Power School. You have your average daily membership and your average daily attendance. So the average number of memberships that are enrolled versus the average number of students that are actually showing up on the daily. And then you have the far right is the bar, which is the board approved ratio, which is something that I think that we need to discuss. These numbers are pulling very conservatively, comparable to the state of Utah on a very small end class size, very small end ratio. And just because you're setting a ratio, that doesn't translate directly to class size, but again, it's the ratio. So if you look, you see kindergarten and first grade in this model, the class size or the board approved ratio would be 19-1. Second and third grade, 22-1. Fourth and fifth is 25-1, and sixth grade is 30-1. Now, these are the numbers that we used last year when we were working on staffing. And we were in a little bit of a transitional period where Michelle was going out and Holly was coming in. But based off of those numbers last year, historically, we looked at that projection and it shows that HMK was about 4 teachers overstaffed. We absorbed 2 of those positions based on our forecasting and knew that we would be going into this school year two teachers overstaffed according to that ratio on board approved or on those numbers that I just shared with you. So in this example, this tool would then say, according to that board approved ratio, on average daily membership, you're about 2.25 teacher overstaffed. Now, you can see the difference between average daily membership and average daily attendance. If you're going on actual students who are attending on a daily or average on the daily, you can see that number jumps quite a bit. And that's because attendance tends to be more volatile by nature than membership. And so, again, this would be a guiding tool. This does not say, okay, here's our board approved ratio. We have to go right down to zero. It's just an idea to give us that quantifiable number. There's a lot of other things, qualitative information and things that come into play in this discussion as well. So this is just one tool that the board would use as they try and manage staffing going forward. So that's HMK. If you turn the page, you have the middle school. The middle school right now, based on those same numbers, are right in a healthy target range, showing just a little bit under 3/4 of a teacher overstaffed according to membership. Again, that's not taken into account it has you 11.25 of district funded certified FTE. And then again, there's an additional 5, a little over 5 FTE that's funded. It does not count towards that ratio. And then that follows over for the high school as well on the last page. Again, on average daily membership, you're looking at 1 3/4 teacher that is overstaffed. And again, there's a large variance there between with attendance as well. The high school is a little different because you do have your traditional licensed staffing FTE of about 16, a little over 16 FTE. And then there's 8 FTE that come into play with vocational funding, a large part of that being CTE funding. That again is the nature of CTE funding is to try and create those more specialized classes and offerings. And so taking that into account, making this just a guiding principle. It does show you going across the top, it shows you your average daily membership and your average daily attendance for all 4 grades. This is just a preliminary. We'll be discussing this as an admin team going forward, both as a group and then with the administrators individually. But I wanted to get this out there in front of you to think about. It is by no means finished. It is by no means forecasting that this is what we need to do, that we're overstaffed, that we got to get teachers. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's just a starting place. And to try and give us a more, if you will, scientific approach to managing staffing, especially as we know enrollment forecasting to be down for the next few years.
So
Questions about that as well?
with the high school, under vocational, that is all external funding from the regular above the line WPU,
That's so,
right?
yeah, that's all your programs, if you look under that box, it's basically your 6,000 series, depending on.
So if you were to cut, if not saying, if you were to cut that, you wouldn't really gain any money.
In the regular.
In the regular
In
fund,
the regular pot, yes.
but sometimes there is matching, and that's why it would be 0.92 or 0.33,
Yeah,
right?
so those are what you would call a braided distribution, where you have teachers being paid out of both. They might be teaching one or two CTE courses
Yeah, I see that.
and vice versa. You'll also see.
Can I clarify Melissa's question? Doesn't the maintenance of effort come from above the line? I think that's what you're asking me. Is it what percentage is CTE funding versus
What?
just agenda? So doesn't the
Your-
maintenance of effort come from the
Your maintenance of effort on your,
state add-on funds?
yes, I'm confusing myself now. I'm gonna have to go back and get clarification. But in that, well, it's with your offerings, and then it's also on the
Work assignment, but it's not much.
the three-phase, or the cycle. But yes, it does impact it it could impact it indirectly.
Okay.
Also, you'll notice, that at the high school, there are 13.3, just a little over 13 FTE that are not counted towards, the board approved ratio. Again, a starting point, and I do think my recommendation, at least as long as the WPU is continuing to be calculated on ADM, we should be looking at ADM as well. The ADA is just another number that comes out of Power School, right? That provide a unique perspective.
But this will help guide, if there's attrition. If we're,
This time of year, when we start to look at people retiring or resigning, and we look at, that's step one. Is that something, do we absorb the attrition? Do we reallocate resources? This helps the board in that discussion.
and I think I said this to Matt, but I feel like, as a board, it's not really our responsibility is the FTE number or in the bar number, but as a principal, if they want to have 10 6th grade teachers and 2 5th grade teachers, that's up,
Building discretion.
they can do that. We're not here to say,
That's it.
yep, you have to have this many teachers in each grade, but they would work with this.
It also gives the building administrator some discretion, if they're wanting to figure out how to offer or fund a new class, or a new offering, what they can do to move that funding around on what the district provides, taking what the district has provided and then the others that aren't counted to provide the offering that they think is in the best interest of their school. So relying heavily on myself, working with district or building administration on that.
So if I was a math teacher and I was like, I am so good at, I don't know, what math, like something else, like even construction or something.
Computer science.
Some class that we didn't offer, and they could then, and this would be something real discussion.
A real life example is the discussion that Carrie and I are having with Jerry about art and the middle school, and how we can, whether we can fund that position more with what would be the district dollar FTE counted towards the bar, or right now it's being funded or partially, what is it, 50-50? 50-50 outside of that. So, being able to change offerings within what's already allocated through the 0001 could potentially free up 0001 money to fund that position out of district to change. So it gives the building administrator that discretion with board guidance to stay within the framework. So it's a tool that both the board can use and building administrators. And it's only taken us like 18 months to get this far, so.
fast tracking it.
Yes. One thing off the way.
Any other question? No.
So then the other two attachments there, just really quickly, are the retire, resign notifications that we've gotten. So far, you'll see that we have 5 teachers retiring or resigning from the elementary school, 1 at the middle school, and 1 resignation at the high school. And then, also attached is your just monthly personnel list for your review.
Okay, if you have any questions or concerns about hirings.
Teacher meetings.
Yes. Yeah, if you have any questions about personnel, please, do not do that in a board meeting. You can set up a meeting with Matt or Jerry. Next. Calendars. That, talking about employee calendars. Not to be confused with school calendars.
So we approved the school calendar last month, and off of that, now we can extrapolate and build the employee calendars, and these will be back on for your approval in the regular meeting. Couple of things to point out, just as the calendar falls different each year. So looking at this, the first one up there is the 180-day calendar. That's the highlight here is that it would start on August 18th. Which means we would have certified staff back, people on the 212 calendar back on the working on the 17th, so that if we were going to do an opening institute or convocation or whatever you want to call it, as a district in its entirety, we would be holding that on the 18th. And then their last day there, as you can see, is through the school year, May 28th.
This is the school calendar. The class calendar, right? Not,
No, this what you're looking at right now is the 180-day calendar, but it's embedded in the same format as the school calendar, yes. Now, this will not be the one that gets put when we're working on putting this together, so that there's a one-stop shop where everybody can go and just look and see what, I'm a 180-day employee or I'm a 212-day employee. This is just showing you the days. If you go down to scroll up just a little bit, Michelle. The work days in the months to add up to their 180-day. Now, remember that 180-day, that's your paraprofessionals. They're classified non-exempt, meaning that they get paid when they work. So this really isn't a day counting thing other than that, but that's the expectation of their work notification.
Current contract is 183 days. Are you talking about changing that?
For their paraprofessionals, it's 180 on their work notification.
Okay, but for teachers, it's,
Teachers still are 183.
so you're not looking at changing.
No,
Okay,
not at all.
it's a terminology issue.
Yeah. If you want to pull up the next calendar, Nishay. 212. This is your 212. The thing, zoom in a little bit so I can see. The major change here, and I've talked to some of our administrative team, we'll be talking to the rest of them, is the start date here for the 212-day count employees. So these are primarily your building administrators and your clerical support staff. And so the start date for this proposed start date would be bringing them back 3 weeks before school starts. So day 1 would be July 27th. And then the last day of the calendar of the contract would be June 18th. So that's shifting that about a week early. Typically, the entire month of July is kind of the window where these 11-month employees aren't working. That said, we've run into some issues towards the end of July. And that's when we're getting our last minute crises, if you will. People are resigning. We're trying to do interviews. We're trying to get ready. So having those administrators and that support staff back into school a week early is the recommendation. And then the last calendar is your 260, which is your 12-month. And just because the way that the calendar days fall this year, there's actually 261 days in the calendar. So you'll notice that July 2nd is highlighted up there. That is a non-work, non-paid day. So this is the group of employees that gets paid holidays. So that's not a paid holiday. It's a non-work, non-paid day. So that you can see it adds up to 260 days there going down the right-hand side.
These are salaried and exempt and non-exempt.
Yes. Again, these will be back next month for any discussion that you might have.
Do you know how many, I can look, but off the top of your head, do you remember how many days we allocated for paid holidays last year?
Your paid holidays are I'm looking at the wrong calendar. If you look up there for your 260, they're the red holidays.
Yeah, do you remember, do you remember how many days we?
Oh, of this calendar?
Yeah,
I don't.
okay,
I think it was 14 plus 3. Because we used to cost you.
14 plus 3.
17.
Yeah.
I think that's how.
I agree, I know, Okay. And then the July 2nd is not in the 18, correct?
It is not.
Okay,
It is a non-work, non-paid.
okay. And why is 20 highlighted? What is it?
That's the number of the number of days in that month because it's different because of
Oh,
July 2nd.
okay,
It should, July 2nd wasn't highlighted.
Oh, okay. Okay.
20 days.
so this just if looking at this calendar is the school calendar. And to get the specific information, we look at basically just this section here,
If you're looking at the number of days they work and
but not necessarily the color coded things.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Okay. HMK Plaza improvement, board will review the proposed HMK Plaza improvement and timeline, the underlying goal is to reduce ongoing maintenance as much as possible while maintaining the intended functionality of the space.
Okay, so there's the site map. You can see the pink fuchsia, whatever color you want to call that. That's the school. The yellow areas that are highlighted there are the ones that we're addressing with this independent bid package that we talked about. We looked at whether to tack that on or not. We've started the process with MHTN to formulate an independent bid package to address those areas. This major priority here being those plazas on the inside and trying to, like it says, make them as less maintenance possible going future. So if you look at, I put the proposed schedule on there. I have a meeting tomorrow for the design check-in to see what that looks like as far as the idea. There was a lot of xeriscape in the original plan, and not as much turf as we had hoped for maintenance purposes. So we'll be reviewing that tomorrow, hopefully buttoning up a bid package by the 19th, going to post that with U3P on or UP3 on March 24th. Go through our pre-bid conference. It's right there. I don't need to read it off to you guys, and hopefully be ready to deploy on that project June 1. So once we get that out and get our bids back and review those bids, evaluate those bids, the board will have to discuss decision whether or not to go forward, what we think. I do think it's in the ballpark of, $350,000 project. But again, to just really finish this school site up correctly, right, and just, yeah, be done with it, job done well.
What's UP?
See that?
What's UP?
That is the Utah procurement. It's three P's Utah procurement website where you go to solicit bids on a project like this.
Any other questions? You're working right through.
Yeah.
Board work session and board meeting schedule. The board will discuss work session and board meeting schedules for school year 26-27. So these are, our board meetings starting in July. And for a year.
Is any, I mean, I actually did not look at this one ahead of time. Is there anything unusual about any of the dates? on there?
There, any
one-
asterisks is what the unusual.
Don't we usually do just one meeting in June?
I would vote for the earlier date.
I think we typically have 2 meetings scheduled, at least since I've been here, but we've always.
We'll just cancel it.
Combine, or we combine them,
Yeah.
right? Do a combination.
You combine.
We see what's
Going on.
just in case there's
Okay.
something that needs to be approved or then dates.
The other thing that I would point out on this schedule, this is typically how we start. And this could change, but like you'll see, as we get closer to the end of this year, we'll start asking to push back your May and your June regular meetings because of budgeting issues and tax notifications and things of that nature. So you'll see that, I would imagine, in 27. I don't see the timeline change significantly, but we'll also probably want to push May and June back towards the end of the month for budget purposes.
And I wrote that in your text that you asked
Yeah.
me, right?
We-
About
June.
when we talk June, we
June.
usually push those back, you know.
Yeah.
Because of budget has to be approved after June 20th, but before June 30th, and our board meeting never
And when we get,
falls.
and we're typically not getting our tax notices until June 1, and it's.
So that's
it's-
the
it's
second meeting is the one you're thinking will be later.
And in this year too, I think, at next board meeting, when we're talking about advanced planning, trying to move May back a week and June back a week for the September year. You'll see.
Do we want to just try to do that right here
We can.
in the 27th?
We can make that, because this isn't gonna be
this is-
approved, this will be back for you guys to approve.
Why don't you look at, let's do we like the work session the week before though? So it would be moving 2 meetings.
Are you
Moving
talking
both
about
in the
next
back.
year?
This
What
is-
you're
this-
talking about
this
next
is-
May,
I'm
June?
talking kind of both. I mean, in general,
Or the
You-
coming one?
yeah, well, for May and
Do you like
June.
it that, with just that week turnaround, or do you?
Yeah, that's the question. Sometimes, I mean, budget wise, usually,
It's gonna be chaotic for us.
Yeah.
So we have a regular board meeting on the 20th of May. So you're saying,
there's to the 27th,
okay,
and then work session on the 20th,
gotcha.
or board meeting on the 27th and keep the work session on the
13th.
13th.
Right.
So that's a question of like what. To me, that's a question of like, what's on the agenda of if you're presenting a budget, a draft budget, a semi-final draft budget on the
Week before.
week before, or 2 weeks before, is that too soon?
I don't know that it makes a huge material difference. I mean, obviously having more time to even prepare the draft, is nice, but
Mm.
I don't, we're talking about it being, whatever we present in work session is going to be a draft.
It is,
I
yeah.
don't know that it necessarily is super material. I don't know,
Do you
yeah,
guys
definitely
prefer,
pushing.
like it within a week? Or do you want
I
to have
don't
the break?
mind, I don't mind, I was just, the date, the Wednesdays that I'm gonna be gone. Is June 3rd and 10th. 3rd, right now, there's nothing for me, it's the 10th. That's a, an important board meeting that I would, might be able to Zoom or something for that,
So,
other than.
But that, you're saying the 10th, the June 10th,
Yeah,
if
that's
we were gonna move it back anyway, then we would move it to the 17th and the.
of,
but that
We're
was my
talking about-
question. Do we want the week you want to
Separate,
keep the
yeah.
week as separate, or do we keep it together?
I'm
So in-
different.
In,
I think keeping them together helps just remind you.
Can't remember what happened. the week
Fresh
Yeah.
memory.
for the purposes of this year, though, the USSA conference is on June 17th. So if we move board meeting to the 24th and did not put the work session on.
Okay.
So we could, yeah, maybe we could do 27th and then June 10th and 24th.
That would be.
We're moving May. We want to move this year.
So we do have like some other things going on that night, 22nd, the awards, does that?
In
Yeah.
May.
On May 27th? Is that?
Graduation.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. But like.
This is
there's-
for next year.
Well,
We're talking
starting
this
with-
year.
we got sidetracked.
I'm sorry.
Well,
That's
someone does
graduation
have access
pictures.
to calendars.
It says here senior night is the 27th and then graduation
Yeah.
is 28th.
I thought they changed the senior night.
It's,
We don't have a board meeting on that. We have a board meeting on the 20th. So,
you were saying.
13th and 20th.
switched things.
but are we switching it? We do need to switch our May.
Yes,
Doing. Which that will do us.
Yeah, which ones do we always try to? Never have been successful in.
What about in the daytime? Can we
That
have
is
early?
for treatment taxation to look at this.
a lot, and we're still waiting on that stuff, but yes.
Have like a one.
The effective date on that is July 1st.
For what?
Truth and taxation bill.
Okay. So we could just start earlier on the 27th.
27th. And again, it's an agenda item for next month, or for next week, but
Yeah,
we can make a plan here.
yep. Okay. Then in 27,
Just plan on moving those back from the get-go.
well. No. What we need to make sure, what we're trying to do is stay away from senior awards night.
If it's always gonna be that Wednesday.
It's always on the Wednesday before graduation. So. If we have to change the time on that,
Okay,
like see how it works this year and go, if our meeting starts at 4. Then what's a senior awards night starts at 6 or 7?
I have it in the
7 to
calendar right
9.
now for 7.
Okay. So just doing an earlier meeting.
But, oh, they see graduate. day.
Last day of school is the 28th and the 19th of. Yeah, always.
Just keep me posted.
Show up.
I don't have a life, so it's just whatever.
Turkey season's not hit yet.
I'll be gone on August 11th.
So
I'm
which-
off truth and taxation.
The 12th, this says work session, but.
I know, usually that is our August, the first weeks in August is truth and taxation hearing. If we do it.
Yes.
So maybe we stay away from August 11th. then.
Well, I'm gonna be in Alaska for
for a month.
People what, a week, please. And there's no.
Okay. All right, moving on. High school Title IX athletics review. Districts are required to present an annual Title IX review of athletic programs. This review was conducted by Title IX coordinator Jill Tatton, and athletic director Ron Elton.
I've been texting with Jill. She's somewhere speaking. So she is actually this item and the next one. And she is hoping that we can go on to the next items. So that she can be told when we go.
On this one, this is just a review. If you want to pull that attachment up, Michelle.
Oh,
I told Jill I would just speak to it really briefly. This is just a review of Title IX athletics and expenditures. And the two things we took away from this review is that, one, we're actually in really good shape, doing a really good job here. The inconsistency that you see here is more of a accounting issue and some training issue about not understanding the importance of making sure that we're allocating expenditures or assigning expenditures to the specific different teams. For example, if it looks like in tennis, it's all being charged to or allocated to boys tennis or girls tennis or vice versa. It's a recording error on our part. When we dug into that, the expenditures are actually have us in a really good place.
Do they share equipment?
So
Is that why, like certain things like that?
they do, but it's more, if I remember right, talking with Jill, it's more the travel expenses, coaching expenses, things of that nature that we're just not splitting out to the detail that we should be
And that's at the school level.
at the school level. So we've talked about that. Tiffany's been great to work through with it. I know Jill and Jerry and Tiffany have had some discussions about it. So we're actually in a good place. And I think if you read down, there's some comments down there. Let's scroll down to the next page and show you. There's some comments to read right there about that and the direction that they can go forward. So more of an information piece. And a requirement, you will start seeing this earlier in the school year.
So the 10% discrepancy, it should be basically, they should be within 10% both ways. Like you don't want girls 10% more than boys or
It should
what,
be,
right?
it should be
Should be
within
pretty,
that
and
10%.
does it matter if it's per pupil or if it's total? Because like per pupil, if you have a lot of pupils, then there's gonna be
And you-
lower.
And you're gonna have your outliers that, again, the Title IX, this is a review and a guiding document. You're going to have, the Title IX language itself is like experiences, similar and like experiences. So you can't have a huge discrepancy there. But there are things that are gonna cost more for certain sports than others, like the reconditioning of football helmets is a classic example. Right, that's a huge expense. That's always gonna cost, you're always gonna see more money pumped into that because of that. That does not change the opportunity or experience materially. So you're going to see some variance there in answer to your question. And you might see some variance with if you have extremely large groups of.
Yeah, because like boys basketball or girls basketball. I think it was pretty. But I just, when you look at the per pupil at the end, at the last column. You were spending more per pupil on girls overall, but that's probably because there's fewer girls. I don't know. I mean, I guess I wonder if that is, if the 10% is total expenditure or per pupil. If it's total expenditure.
And cheer's not on here.
We'll have to add that. Is this the? Is this the third time? Is it this the first time they're like sanctioned or something?
This is that they've been competitive.
Competition.
But does that, but they're still, are they still under Title IX? Even if it's not a sanctioned sport?
This sanction just wasn't competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the answer is yes. Maybe that's why Jill wanted to be on the phone to explain.
Jill is calling you. Okay, Jill, I've got you on speakerphone. All right.
All right, I don't know what I'm looking at, so tell me what's on the screen.
Right now, we're looking at your Title IX chart.
Okay. What questions? There's the Title IX chart and then, what did Matt cover already?
Jill, well, I covered it haphazardly. One question that came up is why cheer is not on this report.
Why cheer?
Yeah.
It should be, the cheer, it's below that. And honestly, don't know. I didn't know if it was a sport or not. And hold on, let me walk away. So sorry, let me walk away. I'm trying to do too many things at once today. So cheer was listed below, same with I think mountain biking. Is that correct?
I don't see mountain
No.
biking.
So that's why it's not there. But cheer, it should be less. Really, cheer should be on there because it is both boys and girls. So, but
So
we
to
can
understand,
ask, we can definitely add that. We can definitely add that.
Purposes of this report, it's.
So there's also band in the debate if we're not here, right? Because those two are also. What was that? Oh, band debate and drums,
But are they because they're,
by somewhere like that. Well,
right?
And this is, it's a review of Title IX athletics, so I don't know if the term
Okay.
athletics comes into play. With whether or not. We'll have to do some research, and I don't know if the 24,000 on drill. Makes me wonder if
it's in there.
cheer might be.
Part of that?
Grouped in with that, but I'm not certain, so we will do some digging.
drill, they have a set amount, right? So 24,000 have expense because that included, you're allowed to spend what, like 1,900 per girl. So, but I don't think it includes cheer, because cheer also is allowed to spend 1,100 per girl.
We'll have to dig into the cheer question.
Okay. And do we have to do a report like this for middle school sports? Why?
It's just required that we present the high school sports.
From the federal
This is-
government,
This is the state.
the state?
It was through the state this year, through our Title IX meetings, that we only had to present the high school sports. We didn't have to do the middle school.
But Title IX is federal, not
Yes,
federal.
Title IX is official.
Meeting, that's all that they required of us is that week of the high school sports.
And the amount, so the total amount of money spent in the total amount column. You've got that column, and then you've got money spent for coach and bus driver meals and lodging. You have money spent for referees, stipends. So that total amount spent, so for example, basketball is 8,900. Well, no, I just answered my own question. So additional money, then there's 10,000 for referees, which obviously is not included in the 8,900. So these are all separate. So amount spent is the amount that the school puts toward the activity. And that includes fees. Does that include fees and fundraising? Or is that the amount the school spends?
It's the amount that the school spends. And the whole point of this is that it needs to be presented to the board. But what really is the whole idea behind it is if there is a discrepancy, and I can't remember what column it is, since I'm not looking at it. If it's over 10%, what is our plan to fix that? Well, when I met with Jerry and Matt and Ron has been included in a lot of this as the athletic director, it's why is there a discrepancy over the 10%? And what are we doing to mitigate that? And what it really boiled down to is that it's partly making sure that items should categorize correctly into when they're being financed at the high school. So that's really what the whole purpose of this is. It doesn't have to be approved by the board. It's just something presented to the board. But it also gives you a better look at how the funds are being spent. But you can see how they compare to each sport. So that's what the whole purpose of this report, and you'll see it again next August/September, right around there.
I'm pretty sure that that amount of money is not the amount of money the school spends on those sports. It's also the kids fundraising, putting it in their club account. So it's the two accounts together.
Mhm.
So just
Mhm.
because there is the Title IX talking about the ability to fundraise,
Yeah.
right? So if a boys team can fundraise a lot easier, you can see that there. So
Then how are we supposed to tease that out when we're looking at it? I mean, we're not supposed to, that's just what Jerry does, or, so like if we're just looking at it, obviously it looks like a huge discrepancy, but it's because there's fundraising money in there. Does that mean, yeah, that's kind of.
So that's how we need to, that's one of the things we need to really look at. How are we categorizing things so that we can make sure, this is fundraising versus not fundraising, and that's why this sport has so much more money versus what the school is actually spending on each sport per student.
Are we required, I mean, is there a requirement that the fundraising money has to be part of that, like? Maybe a second column?
No, but I think it would be a good practice.
Yeah, like, can it just be another?
but we're still looking at, but that's still, the fundraising money still counts in Title IX issues.
So that's the thing, is that, yeah,
If that's
so
what
it has to be, that seems weird though, like
Yeah.
how.
I don't know how you could police that.
Yeah, you can't.
Why can
We,
the boys
they-
raise more?
But
than
can we
girls
create
raise more?
another
You can
column?
redistribute it.
you redistribute the fundraising
Okay.
money.
So if the boys make a whole bunch of money,
Then it
fundraising,
goes
his
to-
half of it goes to the girls.
Right.
Right, or into a
Common-
account.
Common pot.
Hmm,
Mhm.
oh boy.
So like baseball banners are $400.
Yeah,
Girls only charge $200. In historically, cultural, boys have an easier time
Mhm. Raising
fundraising
money.
than
Yeah.
girls, and so it's trying to make that
Yeah.
That just seems.
easier or equitable.
What are,
Is that the right word?
what are other schools do about that?
What we just said,
That's what
pool it.
They
they do, okay.
But you can get around it with booster clubs and, like I think the football team uses a booster club. Cause
Booster
that
club,
doesn't
okay.
seem like enough money that they've raised, $7,000, cause they sell their devil cards and all that stuff, so that's not in that. They're not going through the school. They go through booster. Well,
So that's separate? That's a
No,
separate.
it doesn't
And Karen,
seem-
maybe you can talk to that. I'm not aware of, booster clubs or club accounts that are not being run through the school purchasing things.
They were told that that is not legal and they are not supposed to be doing that.
So.
So when they sell those double tickets and stuff like that, you know, you get your whatever, you get your pizza or whatever, does that go into a common account?
To the
Look at
account,
football.
and Tiffany, but you know, they get a certain portion of what you pay for that. Right? They don't, like, the way that company makes their money is that
Mm.
they say, we'll give you the cards for $80, you charge 100 or something.
Right,
Just
right,
an
right, right.
example, we'll take the 80 and you get the 20. So for every one you sell, you
Some
get 20
administrative
bucks.
fee.
Yeah.
Some-
But that, as far as those discount cards go through, this,
When you're selling flour, you know,
Yeah.
like, or oranges or
Yeah.
whatever. Who buys the flour and who buys the oranges? Does the school buy it?
Yep.
Okay.
well, no, it's the same thing, right? Like you pay $20 for that bag.
Oh, right.
They get a fee
$13
from
to-
You just, right,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah,
They put
okay,
it in
yeah,
service.
right.
But all of that money does go to Tiffany and then she cuts a check to Bluebird Flower.
Maybe football fundraisers have gone down this year with the new coach.
Yeah, and with the team not being successful.
Mhm. Or maybe, if this is not current year, this is last year's.
That's
Mm.
last year's data, yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And again, you'll see this back in August and we'll input on it and provide some additional detail.
Mhm.
But so going back to the 10%, where is the 10% discrepancy where's the number that we're looking at?
So colored, if you look at the colored, some of the colored, categories, and you scroll over to little, almost to the end, there will be one that's like 58%,
So
one that's
this
like
column from the left.
18%.
Discrepancy.
Oh. So that's just sport discrepancy, not necessarily girls, boys discrepancy.
No, it's broken down.
Yeah,
It is.
it's discrepancy between,
One in the top rows versus the bottom rows. So the color coordinates.
So how do you
with the bottom.
compare a drill? What do you compare drill to?
Whatever,
that one you
Like at the top.
don't. I don't think there's a number in that in for drill.
In a larger scope. These girls do.
is football, but that, you know.
But like if you
that's-
look at soccer and
everything is-
tennis, they're the same numbers in each. There's just a discrepancy of 28% soccer and
Mhm.
59% tennis between the two girls and boys.
You guys will figure it
Okay.
out. Whatever the states.
Okay. Well, the requires us to present this to us. I think,
We've met the requirement, but we will continue to get provide you with additional detail.
I think what I think is what will be key though is, I mean, looking at this is if we are asked by community members or coaches to create new sports, either at the high school level, middle school level, that, we're aware of kind of the numbers on this page, how much it costs to run a sport, but also making that equal.
Mhm.
If we add a tennis team at the middle school, we have to add a tennis, we have to do boys and girls or, so.
It's not on here.
An equal number of opportunities.
So equal, it's allowing the kids to have access to something.
Equal
It-
access.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but it's providing an opportunity for students. So it's not necessarily one sport and another sport. Are there equal opportunities for kids to access sports.
Golf is cheap because the Moab Golf Club puts in a lot of money
Mm.
for it.
Mhm. And there's really no equipment, the kids have to.
Right, they have their own
Right,
stuff.
it's true.
But the travel,
Right, just
is-
And the travel's
Well, we
only in
have to-
suburban,
she's
it's not
on
in a
the
bus. So, golf is cheap.
It is, yeah.
You know what's
but
not
they
on there?
do, it's down below. For some
Oh, with the
reason.
with swim, oh, maybe it was down there.
Now, why is that below there? Jill, why is swim and wrestling not up above?
Swim, well, they're both, they allow, the reason why I put them below is because they both have boys and girls on the teams. One team.
It
Like
doesn't
there's
track.
girls track and boys track, but they compete within themselves where swim
Compete.
wrestling is all competed together. And I got that from other schools. That's how other schools were doing that as well. Like their swim and their wrestling were kind of, it's there, but a little separate.
Swim's only
I hope
one
that makes
season, right?
sense.
I mean,
They have a club.
yeah, they have like clubs and.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Oh, my remarkable, put down. Disaster.
Superior.
Reboot.
It's sleeping.
Mm.
Okay.
You waking.
Policy update, GCBA, Jill Tatton and Holly Harris have worked together on this policy GCBA, parent and family engagement, to create an updated rough draft that includes the state requirements. Attached are the current policy and the policy that are proposing in a rough draft form. They'll be bringing this policy back in its final form at April board meeting for approval.
So we have Jill, I'm gonna start off just real quick. We have a little bit of clarification. I don't know if you talked to Val today or not about whether it is required to have this as a board approved policy or just a protocol. Did you get any?
I didn't get back yet today. I'm sorry, I've been a little busy, but I think, and I will clarify this with people, we might have to have a school protocol and then a board policy. So they can look very, very similar where one complements the other, like the school one complements the board policy, but I'm waiting to hear back from her.
She
Let's see her at the conference, so. So if that's the case, I'll let you know, but Val had suggested that we make at least this document that we've been working on as a protocol. And then we may have to actually have an actual family engagement policy that's kind of less, like detailed, more broad. But we definitely have to have board
We have errors.
or a school protocol.
Okay.
Jill, do you want to provide a little bit of context for why this is coming up right now?
Visit back in January for title policy or title programs. And we did really, really well on a lot of our things. And they came back and we needed a couple of items that needed to be addressed. And one of them was we do not actually have a family and parent engagement protocol or policy of sorts. What we have in our actual policies does not meet the requirement of the state where it talks about, what are you going to do? Do you have funds set aside? How often are you meeting? What are what are we requiring of our school? And we only have one school that's Title I, so we're kind of a unique district. So they sent us a kind of a rough draft of what all the items that need to be in a protocol so Holly and I sat down last week and we pulled up different policies from different districts and took the good and left the bad and, put this document together. So it was kind of a quick document, but because we don't have something in place, we're kind of at the mercy of getting everything completed to the state. And so I'm on a timeline. It was supposed to be finished by March 22nd, but they have given us an extension so that we can finish up everything that we need to do by August. And some of the things are going to be a little more time consuming. So that's why we have this protocol in a rough draft form, and hope that, and we've covered all of the items that need to be done.
So providing feedback,
Does that help?
Yep.
providing feedback so that, at next board meeting, this can be acted on to post for public comment.
Is there no code that this comes back to? I guess I can't see the current policy. Like,
There's not state code or statute.
Currently, our policy has a paragraph that addresses this. But does not go into any specific detail or whatnot, and it wasn't brought to our attention that we were not meeting the state requirement until this title on monitoring.
wouldn't the state requirement be the code that needs to be in
I don't know if it's code or rule, but
our, what,
Yeah,
This
there
is
is
our
a code.
current policy right here.
I think we listed all the codes at the bottom.
In your current policy, it lists the code.
the code?
Yeah.
Sorry. this
But
is-
we didn't, because that policy didn't meet.
Yeah, it did not meet the standards for the state.
So this is the current policy that we have in place right here.
So right there is the code.
and in your monitoring, Jill, did they tell you specifically why that did not meet?
It's, some of the things in that policy are, it's nothing like what we drafted. It really is very vague. And the one that we have has, like, it's not specific to family and parent and family engagement. It's not its own, like, document.
When was this policy adopted?
23.
Family. Parent and family engagement. It doesn't say that necessarily where it needs to.
Because parent participation is different than parent.
All right. I'm having a hard time figuring out how those aren't working together. Does that
So
make
what
sense?
isn't working?
How so the one that we're currently on, the GCBA, which is approved, has code and rule in it. The new draft form is more specific to
Yes.
help,
No protocol.
So it's a protocol.
more procedure and protocol.
It seems more, the recommended is more protocol
Yeah,
versus our current policy is more.
so
code-based.
can we stick can we call it a protocol that we're
That was the guidance that Jill was trying to get from Val today. It was
Okay.
a little bit ambiguous coming back.
Okay,
The reason it's on here, it was added late. We're trying to make the timeline.
okay,
That being said, clearly we need to get some clarification. We're still waiting on that clarification. And then,
Sending it as like a rough draft today, and then after the rough draft, then I'm sending it over to Val. She'll give us all of our feedback and like whatever else we want that we need to change or that, so it will meet their state requirements as a protocol / policy.
and who's Val again? Who's Val?
Oh, she's a state Title I person.
From
Val-
you,
Val
this
Scott.
school,
In the state.
the State Board of Education?
Yes,
Okay.
USDE.
Okay. All right. We'll come back with Val's recommendations. Now, USDE. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jill.
Hey, thank you. I gotta go. I'm speaking in like 10 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I Jill.
Good luck.
All right, thank you so much, you guys. If you have any questions, just email me.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, bye.
Right. All right. Next is policy updates, non-negotiated policies with substantive changes, E through G. Board will review and discuss policies in column 3 of the USBA 25 model policy chart. This column contains policies that have been substantive changes, but not been previously negotiated policies, and sections B, D have already been reviewed. The board will only be reviewing policies in section E through G today. This is the second reading of these policies. Policy FGAB is not included in this list, due to having been previously approved in August. Matt, you had a,
So just, I've had some conversations, some side conversation, and maybe the best place to start right here is just an overall discussion on policy, because Jenna reached out to me. I talked with Dave and Kathy a little bit after finance meeting about the board's approach to some of these policies, the non-negotiated substantive change policies. There's a lot here. And as you guys know, the legislative session just ended. And so we're going to be seeing a new batch in the immediate future. So kind of stepping back and looking at these from a philosophical approach of how we want to best accomplish this and tackle it as a board. Some of them, as Kathy pointed out, there's not a lot of wiggle room. You know, it's because of code, we're making this change and it's what we need to do. And others, you have some, you know, whether it's an example would be, not that we're suggesting it, but like graduation requirements and things that you can customize a little bit more to your district. But just looking at these and deciding how we want to tackle, and maybe having conversation during the work session about some of these that are concerning to you or that you have questions on, but not feeling like we've got to rush to post these for comment or adopt these, you know, overnight, knowing that it's likely that many of them will have additional changes coming down the pipe out of the legislative session, like they do every year. I don't know how many were on the thumb drive this year, 160 or something. You'll see the same. So if there are specifics on there that you think, you know, hey, this is an important one that, you know, I want to tackle right now, or if you want to just have some conversation about how that approach is, really kind of turning that over to the board for discussion on how we want to base the policies challenges we have coming down the pipe. Thoughts?
I see maybe 3 options of, one, tabling these. 2, pushing it to, you know, a 2-person, not necessarily with you, but a policy committee.
That was the other thing that.
Or 3, work through it with, you know, as a work session, you know, a commit, a bigger,
Some of us would like a policy.
yeah, well.
I mean, there's so many things that don't have to be dealt with. You just
Sure.
can get them voiced out, and then there's a few things
Agreed.
that are,
I'm
and then we work on.
I gave you 3.
Yeah,
So
I,
that if
tabling it just pushes it down the road, doesn't
Yeah.
do anything, so I think the second is good,
the,
it's good.
it's,
Yeah.
if, and I feel like, even if we did a, I'm gonna say a 2.1 and a 3.1 of like, even if we were wanted to do a committee or / work session, if there are 3 of us that wanted to be it, we just have to, you know, notify people, and then 3 of us could work on it. You know, if we wanted it a bigger committee, we just, and then you wouldn't have, you don't have to show up if you don't, you know, it's just so that we could have 3 people looking at it. and no decision, we would just be working through it. Is that a legal thing we could do potentially?
It would just be a work session.
Work session that a couple of us didn't
Council
show.
work session, and if you excuse board members.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean,
too,
that's
There might
enough.
be some that I might be interested in.
Yeah.
and some that you might be interested in, that
Yeah.
I might have more, like, I'd be more input in like some health thing and. You might
Yeah.
have more input. So maybe if we know what is coming up, like, maybe I would attend that work session. And if it wasn't anything that I felt strongly about, I wouldn't have to show up with that,
Yeah.
maybe we could just sort of have it
Mm.
open-ended that way and.
well, and that to me is a work session,
It's
so
a
that,
work session,
so
so-
that we,
I mean, we could
You
all
don't-
go always.
well, not always.
Yeah.
If you,
Yeah.
you know that which ones are showing
Yeah.
up, you know,
Wanna talk
and
about
you
it?
wanna come, then,
Uh-huh.
but the people on the committee, which would be
I said,
who we
People, yeah.
decided, was it you and me?
Yeah.
We
Who-
would,
Remind me who's on that committee.
Jenna and me, we would potentially just be always there.
Yeah.
But then
But if we're gonna have others, we should at least.
we have to
Notify. We have to-
we just
So,
have to post it, that's all. Maybe just,
I think we should probably just always post it then in case somebody wants to go.
That's another
Yeah,
option, too.
that's the other option.
Just
Yeah,
have it
it's just making sure that we
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah, I
Or,
like that
or we
idea.
don't, and if
Yeah.
no one's here.
yeah, I like that idea. a lot.
So then I think if you want, I think, cause I feel like sometimes you
Yeah.
you
there's
show up
goes
to
some-
stuff, and I don't wanna say, oh, only two of us.
Yeah, just
Can
blanket,
be here,
like tell every, do it
Um,
for every policy. meeting.
cause it's a good learning
Yeah.
place for, when there are policies, but if
Yep.
you don't wanna show up, then
or just- yeah.
you would, it's still going through our other process.
I like that idea.
Okay. We will talk about that at board meeting about future planning. Is that a good idea?
To schedule some work sessions that are,
Policy.
That are policy focused.
that deliver towards
Yeah.
tackling the
I
policy.
mean, you don't necessarily have to be there. We could even work through and go, okay, these are the questions, cause I feel like sometimes you have a lot more to do, and schedule around, but we could be like, here are the 5 ones that we have questions about, concerns, and you come in for, the last hour, or we bring it to you, but we work through it as a work meeting. Does that make,
Yeah,
does
that's-
that?
I think that's smart. That way you can
So I
utilize
don't
this
wanna,
time.
yeah, he doesn't need to sit there and listen to. And you can listen to it on your drives.
Yeah.
It'll be recorded, so you
I do
can
like
listen to it if,
I do like policy. I don't have a hard
I
time-
know.
I don't have a hard time staying away, but.
well, you can show up. I just don't want you to feel like,
I do have a question. These policies eventually have to get approved, right? We can't like say, we don't want to have that.
We'll just-
Well, you have the.
Can we do that? Like, we don't want to have it.
To an extent, where you get policed in that is just like we were talking about just barely, when we get a monitoring review and they say, hey, you're supposed to have a policy that says this and you haven't passed it yet. That's where you would get things, but we do, I mean, you are the governing body of Grant County School District, so you do have some discretion there, but best practice is to pass. recommended
Especially if the
policy.
legislature says we have to do something.
Yes,
Then
if it's code or rule.
if it's a code, which many of these seem to be, seems like. All right.
Being a dummy about policy, because I hate it. I'm like, man. Are all these new from last year from the legislature, every single one of these?
Well, not new.
They
all of
tweak
the,
them.
all of the
Tweak them,
changes
tweak
are
them.
a result of last year's
Yeah.
legislative session.
And some of them obviously are gonna be pertinent and others are not. I mean,
Yeah.
anything we could do about it anyway.
You're just gonna.
That's where I see the committee shaking that out, saying,
Yeah,
yeah, they're not anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And then these others that need to be, then we can go by
Yeah.
and not, because to me, I'm not,
exactly.
Yeah.
It would be a first run through of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's important enough to,
otherwise
Have a
you just adopt
discussion.
what it is and you go
Yeah.
on, go on and move on.
yeah,
Because it just seems like
Yeah.
it seems like they're spending a lot of time, they're giving us a lot of policies to spend a lot of time on when we have other business to do.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it
understand
is one of
policy's
our
important.
main, I mean,
Yeah,
it is the main thing
Yeah,
that we're supposed to be
yeah, I
doing, but.
understand, but you know, when policies come down at the 10 of the 150
Well,
days.
But
200
also, if they're
years.
just code, it's really hard to like, what,
Right,
we're just.
right. There you go.
Periods and all that.
But I like the discussion of like, is this happening? Why, or is this not working for us? How do we, can we tweak it? Or
How does this apply to us?
how does it apply to us? How can we help, superintendent?
So to clarify for me, we
Yeah.
will have some discussion about scheduling targeted work sessions, if you will, towards policy a week from today.
Mhm.
We'll have that discussion and try and set up that approach. with-
Maybe we could do
with
that today,
Primarily, you and Jenna as the policy board members kind of
Mhm.
driving that committee and that schedule, and then keeping everyone informed so that if there are policies that they want to weigh in on or feel
Mhm.
more be involved with, they can.
Mhm.
Could you just send us like an email with these the ones we're doing?
Yeah.
And then we can look them up and whatever,
Yeah,
like easy for you, easy for us.
yeah.
Are there any policies that, I know you guys, some of you had a chance to review some of these more than others, that you wanted to discuss today specifically? Or highlight that I can be prepared to talk about more specifically?
I just have
Next
some
meeting.
specific questions, but I can wait for that policy. I
Okay.
guess, or whatever is better.
Okay.
Is it better to wait for the policy?
It depends on the question. I think it just depends on.
Just
if it-
information.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And some of those, I looked at, Jenna, just briefly, like, no, it's not our thing. I mean, these are policies that have to do with graduation requirements, but we haven't had a discussion about changing our graduation requirements, so modifying that. So
Why was that blank?
with the, because it's the model policy that they
Okay, right.
send to us that way.
Yeah. Okay. And what about half day kindergarten? I'm just curious. Is there a need to make that here?
More full day.
More
I know.
full day, and
Oh,
There was
I-
an option.
But
They
it's like,
specified
an
an
option.
If there's enough people that want
We
it.
have to provide it.
I've not heard any chatter concerning a request for that.
I mean, that would be an example of something that's really not relevant to us. And there was another one that was sort of about open enrollment, which I think applies more for like, I think the way I understood it is, how people in districts that I want to go into this district, I want to go, my kid to go into that district, I want to kind of
Right,
like
right.
transferring. It's like, that is so irrelevant for us that I just don't know why we need to have that
Yes.
policy.
Unless somebody wants to go to Green River High or.
Right. Right. So,
But the
Anyway,
way I
those-
read that was we have to offer it. Kind of.
the kindergarten one, yeah.
And we don't currently.
No,
Like-
but only if it said if there were enough parents that wanted half-day kindergarten.
Okay.
Or if a
Yeah.
parent wants a half-day kindergarten, then we have our kindergarten teachers have to provide them full-day curriculum in a half a day. And then if there were enough
Yeah.
parents that wanted that, then you'd have to open up a half-day. I just don't see that. But
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like.
I mean,
We don't have to just offer. it.
Yeah.
We have to go through.
And these are the exact kind of things that we would filter through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the
Yeah.
policies that hit the regular board meeting were ready and primed,
Yeah, blanks were filled.
and then we're not just blanket passing everything. It's actually
Right,
been-
right.
been-
gotcha.
We've had the opportunity to pay the
Yeah.
attention that we need
Yeah.
to the appropriate policies.
Right.
Mhm.
To the best of your ability. We know you're not.
Pretty damn. close.
I know, I trust you.
Gee.
I'll do it with a fine tooth comb.
Okay, and maybe you and I can discuss this after this meeting and then figure out some dates and then next week we can then
Yeah.
put that on the calendar.
Yep.
Okay. Now the legislative,
Legislative update, and I don't have anything.
I'm just reading
Oh,
legislative.
I didn't write it. Yeah, I did.
Legislative. Legislative. Hey, yours just lasted.
I'm the wrong guy for spelling.
I'm surprised I caught that. Usually I just go across. Legislative. I just like
The update is it's over. We were working very, right down 10 o'clock at night on the last night. I was on the phone with Senator Hinkins, trying to make an impact. I feel like we were well listened to by our representatives. I haven't unpacked everything yet. We'll be obviously getting more guidance, from. I just forgot her name. Lexi, and USA and UASBO on the specific impacts of everything. And then, yeah, I'll have more for you next week.
And then Thursday, we'll have we're going to San Juan.
Thursday, we will
Yeah.
have the update from San
So-
Juan, which will be our big
Oh,
update.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I know.
next Thursday,
Yeah.
leave here at, I think, 4-ish.
What time, yeah, so is it?
Depends who's driving.
Oh,
Who's
It's
driving?
gonna be a lot slower this year.
I just trying.
Jerry going?
So what time does it actually start?
Starts
I
at 6
can't,
p.m.
I
Starts at 6, so we're probably gonna leave there by 5:30 or 4:30.
okay.
So we can make all traffic laws.
Okay. Okay, shoot, okay. Retreat conversation. So is the time of year that we usually do have a retreat?
Loved the venue last year.
Was that this time of year though?
I don't remember.
End
it.
of June, end of June last year.
Was it
Okay.
Yeah.
the retreat at the USU?
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's March.
and we had everybody down actually, just by chance. I think.
Okay, I like USU for
Yeah.
the retreat.
Mhm.
Last year I did reach out to Richard. about
Yes.
Coming down and providing some of that, and they brought.
Yeah.
a lot of people.
The entourage, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to reach out to them again.
Okay. First half. You like that?
Mhm.
Some of those even like the leadership, some of those things that those things that we,
The courses that we
the
take.
courses of the leadership were really,
Yeah.
great. And any other possibly taking the board KPI? Just for funsies?
Sure.
Okay. You've been on,
But didn't we take it at the end of last year?
well, June will be,
I think just
no, I don't think we did we?
It's fairly recently.
Did we?
No.
I don't think the board.
I don't
one.
think we did a board one.
We did at the end of the year last year.
Didn't we do?
Well, it's almost the end of the year right now. Is it school year?
No,
You're
End of-
talking December?
remember, it was like,
Did we?
it was fairly recently. I think it was. Yeah.
For the
December.
board that we reviewed ourselves?
Yes, remember? And then it was like a survey. It was from USBA.
Well, I mean, there's a KPI for superintendent,
Right,
BA,
right.
and ourselves.
Yeah, this was the one that we had to
Do for
evaluate ourselves. It was not that long ago.
Oh, yes, I remember, it was like a couple questions, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
survey, because I remember some, I wasn't sure if it applied, that was like the fall, wasn't it, like fall,
I think it was December.
Yeah,
or the end
October.
of the year.
October.
Right.
Okay, so we,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, don't do that one again. You wanna assess it?
We could look-
Okay, we could look at it.
Yeah, like I don't think,
Did we ever look, we might have not looked
we
at
did
it.
look at it a little bit.
Yeah, we
We
talked
talked about it.
Okay, so maybe we can look at the meeting minutes from that and see, or
Okay.
assessing our goals or
Yeah.
what we decided, okay.
Perfect.
Revisit what we talked
Okay.
about in
Yeah,
October.
that's good.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Revisit October. KPI. Yeah, that might have been November. That's it. Just to get it, we're conducting it October 10th. Okay. Any other, so professional development or trainings that,
This, the School Leadership Alliance is doing some really cool stuff with different districts throughout the state. I know they've done it with me, I know they've done it with Park City. I can't remember, the other districts, but I think it might be worth investigating if that's something the board would like to pursue some board professional development through, then it would be kind of a kickoff one time, and then, I think it's maybe 2 or 3 more times throughout the year about just board professional development. That I know that they're having great success with.
Who's that? Is that through Nebo, you said?
They've done it with me, but it's the School Leadership Alliance.
And that's that one fellow?
That is Lawrence Lee and
And you're going to the superintendent.
and Jim Quigley.
conference?
Quickly.
Yeah,
Aren't you going to
they
the
did a presentation about some of the stuff that they've been doing.
But aren't you going?
I've already
Oh, you've
He's
already-
back.
Oh, okay.
gone to that. This is a different type of training. but
Yeah.
They're doing it primarily with boards.
Mm.
And we did have some discussion too about, in some settings, they've done that with board superintendent VA. Sometimes they're bringing in different, levels of administration for parts of it, but I think it would be worth investigating. So I will try and get some information from Lawrence about that so that we can talk about it. If that's something we want to bring into the retreat, do you have
Oh.
to facilitate that?
Yeah.
If we do it earlier than June, I feel like it helps with budget priorities, but I mean, that would maybe be a micro.
Be like a
Retreat.
Specific training.
No, it's not training. It would
Okay.
be usually it's a longer work
A
session
longer work session where we're prioritizing.
where we're
Priorities.
budget priorities.
And I think,
Long-term budget.
I think,
Yeah.
not to split hairs, but I do think there's some benefit to. We want to have a work session dedicated to budget priorities. I completely support that, and I know it's a lot. I'm not throwing another meeting on you all already, but I do think there's some benefit to when we talk about, retreat, separating that a little bit from the actual nitty gritty, working on some of those. How can we, continuing education for board members, or building coherence as a board, or community engagement, and some of the other stuff that doesn't necessarily get covered, when we're talking about nuts and bolts, if this is a budget priority. So I think that would be my recommendation, is to have a separate, or just add, maybe start a work session earlier, for the budget priorities, something along those lines. Maybe not really. Already, but scheduling around that.
I'm always up for, anything related to budgeting, we need more help or understanding. I'm always up for that.
Okay.
So you're still pondering dates?
No, I wasn't thinking of dates, but I was thinking about,
I understand what you were talking about.
but just thinking about like presentations of, just the
Yeah.
budget 101 kind of stuff too.
Oh,
Um,
And that's always nice to have a refresher on. that.
especially right before budget season. Or
Do we
I
have
guess you're in budget
Do we
season.
have video or anything that's like, that would be something we should have.
We could definitely
We
have
should
one
get
there.
Jerry, we should get Jerry to make that.
To make a video.
Just make us something like tailored to our, our budget 101 for us. That way we can watch it. We don't have to necessarily come together.
Pat's very photogenic. I can.
Yeah.
Pat gave the lecture so many times, he could
Right.
probably YouTube it.
Right.
Well,
You can go TED Talk.
Pat,
But
but
over.
Pat, you have to tell Pat, please keep it under an hour.
Count it down for us.
Yeah, that would be perfect, right here, if you would like that, wouldn't that be great? If the high schoolers, the video,
Any other ideas for retreat then? So training budget? There's always the part or the Robert's rules that
I have.
are you guys getting those emails? You probably don't get those emails from Ann McFarland, or she does the Jurassic.
You probably sign up for them.
Oh, I'd like to see
Sign up for
that.
them.
Would you?
I've heard so much.
There's one coming up in April, and I was like, oh, I should send this to you guys.
What?
And it's
what
just
is
a
it
Zoom. It's just a Zoom.
Can anybody do it? Do you have to pay for
You have to pay for it. but it's like $70 or something. But it's a
Per
Zoom.
class or to subscribe for all of
No, like for that training,
it? Okay.
that's a Zoom training
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get comment, I get post notices.
from her.
I don't know, I mean, I just, that triggers me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always look at it like,
One, if you've gone to one
Okay.
ever in your life, I think you're on her mailing list. That's what I think
Okay.
it is.
and I just look at
Should we
it,
join the mailing list then, like I.
I can
do
do
the
forward,
link.
I can also
Yeah.
forward to you. Oh, but
And then
yeah,
you
sure,
have to
sure.
sign up for it and pay that, is what you're saying.
Only when you take. the
Yeah.
class.
Right. So,
She's just doing, here are all the trainings I'm doing.
Right.
okay.
And then we-
Just like right now, USBA is doing those, right?
Yeah.
They have those, Zoom trainings.
Yeah, like that, those are. Right.
Any other things on a retreat that you'd be like, yeah, I really wanna, or or work sessions, budget parties?
So we're sort of like, it really isn't specific things, it's,
Yeah,
big picture, right?
big picture trainings, professional development, team building,
Not like the one like.
not
Policies.
policies, goals.
Okay.
I might just look, I'll look at the KPI. That would maybe be a work session, not a retreat. Getting back on strategic planning. Whatever that means.
Having a strategic plan.
Yeah,
That's kind of part of budgeting, isn't it? Like having strategic planning is kind of how you determine,
mhm.
you know, the 10-year strategic plan, and that helps you determine budgeting.
It's your.
Mhm. All right, executive session. Matt has stuff, so we'll just recess for 5-10 minutes. I'll accept a motion to recess. Is there a second? Kathy Williams makes a motion, Laura Lee Green seconds. All those in favor of recessing, say aye. 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 Dave?
oh, sorry, I'm trying to find an email from this person, because I know I just,
That passes 5-0. We'll recess at 5:13.
what's her name? Is it with him from?
And
That's why the hill.
I always wondered what that was all about. I just seen.
Watching one.
I went to an actual retreat for little dinosaurs.
How do you spell it?
J-U-R-A.
Is that what it is?
Would do that.
Yeah. It's like the fencing that goes like the trees here, the fence is here, and I'm walking. It's like the hill that they had to fence, made a hill.
And then,
Thank you.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, call me and, I want you, yeah. Yes, presentation or a discussion of. Or is that?
So. PAs. So you send me a copy of that document and the, staff ratios. Yeah.
Yes.
So send it to me.
Hi, garden areas.
You have to really. Will do.
Thanks. Window. We're gone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can I jump over there? Like a city old tripod if you want to know. How I got the guardian breathing down my neck and she's probably breathing down yours soon. Hey.
What happened to that?
Hey.
Oh.
Go back to the Guardian. I saved it.
She's having 5 days.
I'm not a morning girl today, and like, okay, well, you get to go spend the day with his my coach. Well, that.
How do I move this back into the-
Some sure. I was like some
Yeah.
Do you? Are they?
Do for you guys.
Like it's.
I know.
Sometimes that's what I'm like.
I know.
So I ended up like.
Yeah.
And that's, they're not ones, but then I don't find them. Yeah. So you're. I mean, I try to be all, like, you know, healthy. With things like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. Like, you know, like,
Math
people like
part.
are, and I'm trying to say, cause.
And math part.
Why
is it
Yeah.
not
And I go to that house.
And I'm like, double
Just
here, yeah. But no.
Yeah, you usually wear a short sleeve.
I can really.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about maybe this year trying to start transitioning to that, and then I was thinking.
Like I never wear.
I never.
I mean, it's like.
Yeah. So anyway, I was looking at, I was wondering if you had companies or brands that you
Think
like,
about policy, they come and go,
because they don't.
No.
There's sometimes here, they have nothing to do with anything at the end of the day, or they do. And personally, if we get into a situation, this is my, we get into a situation with a policy, you need interpretation, and they call
It's so thin.
somebody and figure it out, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mind, but it just seems like it's just a endless loop. It is.
So why you have a policy committee?
Yeah, well.
That's vet everything.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's like less.
Like a.
You know what I mean? Like,
And when you first got here, there was the thing with Mike and these charts and that stuff was going on. And I'm trying to figure it out. Just tell me if it's pertinent, if it changed or didn't change enough to worry about, and if there's something we need to decide.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I used to get a lot of like.
And don't give me a test because
all right, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's why.
That was so-
I am sending
Right.
But, but I don't know.
is
Try it.
meetings and minutes, role of the
I
clerk.
just get.
But if you go down further,
I've always.
it has to be, and that's,
You know what I mean? It's.
and it's rubber.
Yeah.
Great school board meeting, April 30th, 90 minutes.
You know what I mean?
Are they live or? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
watch the version?
Bike tour around. With Margaret Tina. That was, that's, you know, the summer.
$57.
Yeah, it was.
$57.
August.
We're going back then.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh, yeah. And so I was there last year in July. And then before that, I did a couple of road color treks there.
But I can talk to you later.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got. My friend.
Yeah.
He's in Thailand right now and he comes back Wednesday and I'm supposed to already have a plan now.
Oh,
And I haven't, I can't get accommodated until I figure out like all the hiding places I want.
Right. Yeah,
I'm like, I'll get to it, and now we're like getting ready.
Oh.
Like, so, no, when
Yeah.
the whole trip is for hiking.
That's so funny.
Right.
It's popped up in my.
Well, that's because she just pulled it back to you.
Oh, was it? Was it from her?
Right.
Yeah, it was from-
You know,
Yeah.
Like,
Right, yeah, 4 o'clock.
anything you like specific.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
You know, yeah, maybe.
somebody's listening to us. Your big brother. And
But there's still gonna be snow. All up
So what,
higher.
when you go?
We leave, the day after graduation. The next day, so the Saturday. Well, I actually go down. Yeah, it is. They said, it says online and all the things that mid-June is when the season starts.
Oh, right.
And so we're gonna be there, we arrive June 1st.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great. I mean, you're going to go into recess.
Me.
You,
Mhm.
and who seconded?
I don't know.
Maybe Dave. I think it was Dave. Okay.
Dave, did you second to go into
Sorry.
recess?
I did not.
You did
I was
not.
asleep.
Oh,
Oh, then who was it?
Just say yes.
Yes. it was-
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, well, the
We all said
shade
aye,
fire.
though. I heard. like,
Yeah,
ayes.
I
Yeah,
had
you know
to
what?
be
I don't know.
awakened to say aye, but
That's true.
Plurally.
It was me.
No.
I do not even remember. I was in autopilot and it was about.
I remember it was 5:13.
But I don't have like. Windy, are they rainy, plus we sleep cold. I don't have no, like, clothing. So it's layers, it is like a winter. It's like,
Yeah.
on top and- But it's.
So Diligent kicked me out in the middle of the meeting.
You know what you need? I know.
So that happened.
Hold on.
Good afternoon.
Diligent kicked
You need
me
to
out in the
override,
middle of the meeting.
Their biking cans?
Yeah. I just don't have.
I
No, but-
almost had a heart attack.
No, these are great.
And Kathy would have had to pay the fee.
They're great travel cans. Your passport.
I did.
Is it a banner, are they on that?
No,
Yeah.
no, well, I have, there have been ones from them, but.
I got a riveting second grade soccer game I can show up to.
Second grade soccer.
I didn't know.
Riveting.
Are they, actually organized? Or they all run in one pack?
Oh,
They're not running. And it's so
They got
figured out.
They got little goalies.
They're not here.
Nice weather.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, we'll come out of recess at 5:22. Still March 11th. I didn't say that at the beginning. of the meeting.
Yes, you did.
Okay. I just FYI forwarded you all an email from Jurassic Parliament. And if you scroll down farther at the very bottom, there's great school board meetings is one of the options. And then you can view all events. And you could probably email her to subscribe. But
Thank you for that.
no, really, she makes it fun. Okay. What executive for personnel, or is that what we're, no, character and competency? Personnel. Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session for,
I would move we go into executive session for personnel.
is there a second? Faber should makes the motion, to go into executive session for personnel. Morley Green seconds. Roll call vote.
Lee Green, yes.
Jenna Woodbury, yeah.
Melissa Bird, yes.
Kathy Williams, yes.
I mean, Beer said yes.
All right, that vote is 5-0. We will go into executive session at 5:24. And we'll turn off the recorder.
Off or pause?
Off.
Off.
And now back on. Not really. Okay, it is.
Wait,
Oh. All right.
you will want this.